Okay. Now, message. Let me know you're watching. So today's my day off. Really excited about that. I have a bunch of errands to do. And I wanted to share with you that I got this beanie. What? The interesting thing about this beanie is that it has built-in Bluetooth. So, homegirl's able to listen to her music while staying warm. I have class right now at like 9:45, but I stopped right here at my spot to eat some breakfast. I was craving some eggs and chorizo. And notice how I didn't say that. I said it backwards because I didn't want you guys to be all pervert about it. Is this thing on? I don't know if I'm able to get messages on here, you guys. This is poor connection. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not sure what to say to you this morning. I'm off today. I have school. Then I have to stop by the courts because homegirl got a ticket some time ago. This was like months ago. Hi, Arixali. I like you, girl. I like you. I got a ticket like a long time ago. I was in Chino and I was giving my girls' grandma a ride. And I was at a complete stop. I was at a red light. I was at a complete stop. Well, my phone was on my lap. And it was on MapQuest. I wasn't on it or anything, but I moved it from my lap to the center console. And next to me was an officer on his motorcycle. And he was staring at me the whole time. He saw me move it and he went, got right behind me, pulled me over. And I told him, like, sir, I wasn't on my phone. I was only moving it away from me. He's like, it was still in your hand. But you know what? The ticket says texting while driving. So I am going to fight it. I'm going to fight that because no, I was not texting while I was driving. I was at a complete stop. I know that there's some kind of rule. Hey, Sandra. Some kind of rule about if your keys are in the ignition, that's considered driving. But I don't know. They're going to have to like prove that because I don't think that's right. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted because I'm gonna fight it. It's not fair that I can't move things around. And if anything, if they feel that is a distraction, what about the officer that wasn't even paying attention to the road? He was staring at me. So why didn't he get write himself a ticket? You wouldn't be all technical. But anyway, me and my sister kind of sound alike, huh? I noticed that when I watch her lives, I'm like, dang, sis, me and you like have the same kind of lingo, like the same kind of word usage at times. Well, we grew up together, so of course, a lot of the stuff that she says, it reminds me of like way back when, you know, that time where you're chilling with your siblings, if you have any, and you can't stop laughing. You know, you're in that zone of just pure happiness, and you can only get that feeling with your siblings. And that's if you're like if you're close with them. I was always close to all my siblings. We all were. We weren't raised with a lot of family around us, like tias, tios, and, you know, grandma and grandpa. We didn't know any of them. We had like one tia that we knew of. And then our cousins. You know who you are. Shout out to my cousin Raymond, Irene, Angelica. You know, those are my peeps. Love y'all. Oh, Blue Moon, I got your message. Good morning. And leave you my like. I'm coming from Danielle's channel. What's up, man? What up, homie? I love your message, and stay tuned, man. I'm gonna for sure make some videos of my sign language, and show you guys the basics and stuff. I want to edit the ones I did post and let you know what I am saying. But for now, maybe look into learning your ABCs, because there's a lot of words that is finger spelled. And yes, this sign means finger spelling. That means finger spelling. And, you know, if you know your ABCs, you're able to at least meet somebody who's deaf and be like, hey, my name is, you know, and then you finger spell your name. So you, at least when you meet someone, they know you by name. And FYI, folks, you cannot give, if you're a hearing person, that's what hearing is, a hearing person, you cannot give yourself a nickname of a sign. Like my name is Rita, and I can't give myself my own sign for my name. Like, I'm not gonna come up with my name being like that instead of finger spelling. Why? Because it's like an inside rule for the deaf community. A deaf person would have to give you your name in a sign language, in sign language. So I can't wait to meet somebody who is who's deaf and gives me my name in sign language. That would be so awesome. That would be a goal achieved, you know. There's actually a lot of stuff that people don't know about the deaf community. I honestly think it's such a beautiful culture, because, you know, they're kind of, they call it they call it a deaf gain, meaning there's perks to it. There's so many perks to it. Yeah, Araceli, I know. You know, it is interesting. My first initial thought when I decided to go to college, I was like 20. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna go to college and spend a lot of time in school, because I never liked it school. I was always good at school, I just never liked it. And I always thought, okay, if I'm gonna go, it better be something that I'm very interested in and that I won't get tired of. Because I'm the type that learns something, and then after I master it, I'm like, I don't need to know more. I know it, and when I need to use it, it'll be in there. I'll just pull that card, you know. But so I was like, I'm gonna go to school for automotive mechanic. I had a Honda, 2 old Hondas that constantly broke down, and I was always fixing stuff in it. I did the whole engine, you know. I did my radiator, my brakes, my exhaust. Yeah, I did all of that myself. I mean, I Google doctor was amazing. I Googled stuff, I watched videos, I asked my mechanic friends. You know, I have a lot of mechanic friends, and they're very helpful. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna go in for automotive mechanics, because it's just fun to get your hands dirty and see results after experiencing or coming across a car that doesn't work, and you investigate what's wrong with it, you know, and then you do everything you can to fix it, and then when you finally turn it on and it runs like beautifully, you're like, heck yeah, I did that, you know. It's an accomplishment. So I always felt like it was a new accomplishment every time my car was fixed and I was able to do that. Hi, Anna. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So I wanted to go for mechanics, but when I registered for Valley College, it was always so packed. The waiting list was ridiculous, and I was like, man, I'm trying to get some education now, because I know myself. I can have an idea, and if I don't act on it, then it'll linger, and then I'll end up getting myself into something else that's productive, and I rather, you know, finish what I start. So I get like that. So my next much blessed to you too, Blue Moon. Bye. I hope to see you more on here. So I went to RCC, and I tried to get classes in there, and theirs wasn't too bad, but then something triggered something triggered me to look in another direction, which was sign language. And I always thought sign language was really cool because my brother, my oldest brother, he's locked up and he will always be locked up. He's he has his 3 strikes and he's been in there for a while. He's always been in and out. But that's my brother, and I love him, and there's so many memories I have, even though every time he came out, he was only out for like days or weeks. Because that's his home. Being in prison, that's his home. That's his life, because that's what he knows, and that's where he's comfortable at. And so that's just him. I love my brother. He's not a perfect person, but he's perfect to me. Anyways, but every time he came out, when I was younger, he came out one time and he taught me how to do my ABCs in sign language, and that always stuck with me. It was one of my one of those moments where you'll never forget. I have a lot of those moments, but they're all very important. And that was one of them. My brother taught me the ABCs in sign language, and I always thought, that is so cool. So he'd be at a distance, and I'm like maybe 6, 7, and he'd be at a distance, and he's like finger spelling something. So I would have to sit there and like really pay attention and see, what is he saying, And he did it on purpose to like see how well I was able to comprehend what he was, throwing up. And his was slang. Like, he would throw up slang stuff too, because there is a difference. Believe it or not, the deaf culture have several different types of sign languages. Spanish sign language, ASL, which is, all around pretty well known. Like American Sign Language, it's well known everywhere, from France and, and it's well known, not just within our states, but it's everywhere. Then there's slang. There's slang. There's another one. I can't remember it right now, but slang is mostly made up from, it always changes. Slang always changes, and then my brother, though, he knew a little bit of both, not realizing it, because he was taught, while he was in wherever. Honestly, I don't even know where he was taught, but I'm sure he used a lot of that while he was locked up, So knowledge is beautiful. Yeah, I agree with you. So he taught me that, and I was like, all right, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna go to school, become a sign language interpreter, and see where that leads me. And I absolutely love it, because one it's not how do you say, like, I'm able to help. The deaf community is like far behind on having access to resources. Like, now that YouTube and social media and all that is coming out more frequently, or it's being more advanced and well known now, the deaf community is able to have a voice now. In their language, their sign language barely was declared a language not even 10 years ago. And that's pretty messed up, because there's people out here who fight for their rights, and they have an actual voice. The deaf community, they have an actual voice too, don't get me wrong, but they don't use it because they can't hear what's being said. So even if they use their voice, someone else who is hearing may hear that and be like, what are you saying? Like, are you, and they misinterpret that. So they really don't have a voice, and they have their sign language, and not everybody knows sign language. So it's always been very hard for them to get their point across. And I'm grateful. I mean, I'm happy for them that now that, and we have more advanced technology, they're actually able to be heard. And I know it's late in the game for them to finally be heard. Bye Blue Moon. But I'm happy to be like a part of that, like to get to know it and actually support them and like defend them. I feel like I have to defend them, because there's some people who are deaf who've been misinterpreted. Like, there was a lady, my teacher who's been teaching me sign language, he's deaf. And every day he has something to tell us about something new that's happened to a hearing impaired person. Like a woman, she was shopping, she was deaf, and another woman was asking her something. They were in the checkout line, and she didn't hear it. Of course, she's deaf, she didn't hear it. This broad that was asking her something took it personal and was offended and hit her and said, B, you don't want, when I talk to you, you better answer me. What the F? I'm talking to you. And that she got all belligerent and irate on this deaf person, and the deaf person's like, what's going on? She didn't know what the heck was going on. She can't hear. She didn't hear. And not every deaf person is the same. There's different levels of being deaf, like where you could hear a little bit of something, or you can't hear nothing at all, or you could just feel or sense vibrations, or there's like this beep, noise. There's different levels of deaf, because we're all born with like these hairs in our ear, which are actually kind of like antennas. Well, some people are born without it. They can still kind of hear something, but not great, like us. Or there's people who are born without the eardrum itself. You never learned it, Ursula? It's not that hard, actually. There's a lot of how do you say, simple understanding to it. It is so beautiful. The culture is so beautiful. But some of us are born without the eardrum itself. Or you can get a fever, and then it ends up messing with your nervous system and the the electric signals to having to hear, and then it gets messed up, and then that's another way of being deaf. Or aging, you get older, you lose your hearing. Fun fact, by the way, something that I've been through. I was at Best Buy. This was like years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, with my kids and one of my close friends, Soledad, which you'll be meeting her soon. We were at Best Buy, and we're just walking around, and my kids, my 3 daughters, they kept telling me, Mom, what is that noise? What is that noise? And I'm like, what noise? I don't hear anything. My friend didn't hear anything, and we let it go. But then my girls started going like this. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And they told me, Mom, you don't hear that? It's like this loud beaming noise. And one of the workers there heard it, my daughter, and he was like, oh, yeah, kids can hear it, but not adults. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, there's this equipment that we have that is like a silent it sounds like a beaming noise, like beep, constant, and only kids can hear it, because when you're younger, your hearing is so great. It's better. But as you age, the distance from your eardrum to the hairs, I guess, move away from each other or something like that. So you can't hear as great as you once did as a child. So I was tripping out. I was like, really? And then I kind of felt like I've aged. I mean, I know I'm only like 30, but after hearing that, I was like, oh shoot, it was like a realization that I'm getting older, And so yeah, if you ever want to test that out, take a kid with you, like a kid that's under 10, to Best Buy and ask him, hey, do you hear like a beaming noise going on? Is it loud? And they'll be able to hear it. And you won't. But yeah, so there's different there's different outcomes of being deaf, and not everyone's the same, and deaf people are just like us. They have different personalities, and you can only try to put yourself in their shoes too, because if these deaf, hearing impaired people were suppressed for so long and not heard, or people even took the time to figure out, what's going on with them, or, people just assumed that they're slow or mentally challenged or anything like that because they couldn't, speak with it being understanding to you. Imagine what kind of psychological effects that had on them, or what kind of toll it had on them. And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, what is it called? I Am Sam. No, it's not I Am Sam. That's a good movie too, though. I have to look it up. It's a really good movie. It's about this little kid and his story. It was a deaf child, and his whole family were hearing, and he was born into a hearing family, and he was told, this was years ago, and it happens a lot, and just recently it gotten better, but he was told that he was mentally disabled, so they had put him in like this psych hospital for many years, and and kind of find out he was actually very smart. He just was deaf. That's it. And back then, being deaf was frowned upon, so his family had a hard time sticking together because his father was tired of the abuse that he was getting, as far as like being bullied, and the father was also embarrassed of being made fun of, like, oh, he has a slow kid, whatever. But his father would take it personal, which it is very personal, and he would do his best by protecting his child, like, my son is not slow, he's deaf. Well, his father got tired of doing that, and he walked out, and the mother was there just taking care of her 3 kids, the one that was deaf also, and she didn't give up. She looked for a deaf school for him. She learned sign language for him, and I really like that movie. I'll find out what movie that is and what it's called, and it's an older movie, but it's really good. It's super good. But anyways, yeah, I have a big heart for the deaf community. I have a big heart for anyone who needs, assistance, because I'm naturally a defender. So I just find that to be amazing to me. Anywho, I'm going to get some breakfast in my belly because, like I said, I am not the same when I'm hungry. Oh, let me leave with saying this. I'm really fond of this channel, okay? I feel like something big is coming, and it's going to be great, And any negative vibes, I'm not, how do you say, like, I'm going to treat it how I would treat it in reality. When I come across somebody who seems to be very negative, not like how do I say this? Like, you can tell a lot about a person by how they talk about others. So if I came across a person who is always talking crap about somebody, especially when I don't even know the person personally, like I've never met this person, I have to make a self-conscious decision, like, do I want that kind of energy around me? Most likely I don't. So I kind of, slowly take step backs and then, like, stay away from that, because I love people, and I feel like when somebody is trying to, paint a picture on someone else, it's not right. It's not right. And I also try to keep an open mind too. Like, well, that's maybe whenever somebody's telling me something bad about another person, I try to have them think about it. Like, well, why do you think they did that? What do you think they're going through? What's going on at home for them? To try to make them understand, like, maybe, there's, and, maybe they did those foul things or wrong things to you because they need help. Maybe they're telling you in that manner, so try not to give up on people so quickly. But, oh, Arcel, you want to watch a movie? I'll find out what the name of it is for sure, because I've watched it several times. And I actually got a really good grade in my deaf class, because we had to pick a movie from his choices and then interpret it in sign language. And I wanted to pick that movie because I watched it so many times. So if I was able to interpret it, it would have been, great. And I did. And he loved it. My teacher, he loved it. And he didn't even know about it. And it was an old movie too. So he was like, wow, I never seen it. But yeah, I want to end with saying that, pray for those that that you can see are clearly having some negativity around them, and be mindful and not aware of people when they're talking bad about someone else. You can tell a lot from a person when you can tell a lot from a person by what they say of others, and how they handle that situation. Like if I found out that somebody was, trying to give me a bad name or a bad reputation, I instantly remember to pray for that person. And there's a few that I've already noticed that are starting to get like that, and I'm praying for you. I want you to know that sincerely. I'm praying for you, and I wish you the best also, and I hope that one day that could be different, because that's not what I'm about. And I will, and I know if I keep on showing you guys, especially the public or my viewers, how I am, you'll come to understand, like, I don't see what you see. You said that this person was like this, but I don't see that. So where are you coming up with this, And then we can figure out what's going on with them. Why are their inner demons present? Let's pray for them, and then also be present for them. Maybe they need something or need some assistance somewhere. Anyways, I'm gonna get some breakfast. My class starts at 9:30, which is like in less than an hour. I love you all. Okay. Stay tuned with me. Stay connected. Tell someone about it. I'm waiting to get enough viewers to where, okay, if I have a couple hundred viewers, let's start getting into the good stuff. The resources and the information, the knowledge that I want to share. And this is information, in case you're wondering, in sign language. I want to give you guys some information about certain things. All right. Well, bye, you guys. Bye, Boo Moon, Araceli, all you wonderful early birds like me, Sandra. Bye, y'all.